The sky turned blood red as the rare lunar eclipse reached its peak. Lily Martinez rubbed her tired eyes and took another sip of cold coffee. The night shift at Arecibo Observatory was usually quiet, but something about tonight felt different. She adjusted her glasses and looked again at the screen. The strange blip appeared 6 hours ago, moving in a way no natural object should. At first, she thought it was a glitch in the system. Now she wasn't so sure. "Jack, can you come look at this?" she called to her colleague. Jack Freeman yawned as he walked over. "What's up? Found another satellite?" "I don't think so." Lily pointed to the anomaly. "It's changing course. Satellites don't do that without sending signals first." Jack leaned closer. "Probably just space junk caught in a weird orbit. Space junk that's slowing down near Mars." Lily shook her head. "I'm sending this to NASA." Across the country, in a small Montana town, Sam Wells woke up covered in sweat. The dream felt so real. Stars exploding, massive ships firing weapons he couldn't understand, and a voice calling out in a language that somehow felt familiar. Sam got up and walked to his kitchen. The small house still had boxes everywhere. He had only moved in 3 weeks ago after leaving the Navy. 15 years as a pilot, and now he didn't know what to do with himself. He looked out the window at the blood moon hanging low in the sky. The dream started the night the moon began turning red. 3 nights of the same dream. 3 nights of the same battle among the stars. Sam grabbed a notebook and started drawing what he remembered. Strange symbols, the layout of a control room, weapons that could destroy planets. His hand moved almost on its own, like someone else was guiding it. At the Pentagon, Admiral Peter Clark was woken by a phone call at 3:17 a.m. "Sir, we have confirmation from 3 separate observatories. The object is approximately 2 miles long and is now changing course toward Earth." Clark sat up straight. "Natural object or artificial?" "Definitely artificial, sir. It's using some kind of propulsion system we can't identify. And it's fast. At current speed, it will reach Earth orbit in about 36 hours. Have we tried making contact?" "Yes, sir. Multiple frequencies, standard first contact protocols." No response. Clark rubbed his face. "Wake up the Joint Chiefs and get the President on the line." By morning, the news had leaked. Cell phones around the world buzzed with emergency alerts. TV programs were interrupted. Social media exploded with theories, fear, and the occasional joke about welcoming alien overlords. In New York, crowds gathered in Times Square, watching the giant screen show grainy images of the approaching vessel. In Tokyo, people flooded into temples. In London, stores sold out of canned food and water within hours. Lily hadn't slept. Her discovery had made her instantly famous, with reporters camping outside the observatory. "It doesn't make sense," she told Jack as they reviewed new data. "The way it moves. It's almost like it knows exactly where it's going." "Maybe it does," Jack replied, his earlier skepticism gone. "Maybe it's been here before." At a secure military base in Nevada, scientists and military officials gathered in an underground bunker. Maps and screens covered the walls, all tracking the approaching object. "What do we know about its capabilities?" Admiral Clark asked. "It's generating massive energy readings," a scientist explained. "More power than all of Earth's nuclear plants combined. And there are symbols on its hull that don't match any known language." In Montana, Sam stared at the TV in shock. The grainy image of the approaching ship matched exactly what he had drawn in his notebook. The same shape. The same strange markings along the hull. His phone rang. An unknown number. "Mr. Wells, this is Colonel Alan Pierce, United States Air Force. We need to talk about your dreams." Sam froze. "How do you know about my dreams?" "Because you're not the only one having them, and we think they might be the key to understanding what's coming. A car will pick you up in 30 minutes. The blood moon continued to glow in the daytime sky, watching over a world that was about to change forever. The black car took Sam to a small airfield where a military plane waited. No one spoke during the flight. 6 hours later, he walked into an underground room filled with screens and busy people. The air felt cold and smelled like coffee and fear. "Mr. Wells, thank you for coming." Colonel Alan Pierce was tall with short gray hair. His handshake was firm. "We don't have much time." Sam looked around. "Why am I here?" "Because of these." Pierce pointed to a table where Sam's notebook lay open. "Your drawings match the symbols on the ship. We need to know how." "I just had dreams," Sam said. "I can't explain it." A woman approached them. She had dark skin and clever eyes. "The symbols are unlike anything in our records," she said. "I'm Dr. Maya Scott, head of linguistics. I studied ancient languages for 20 years, but these," she touched Sam's drawings, "these feel both alien and familiar." Outside the base, the world was changing. The alien ship entered Earth orbit at dawn, bringing darkness with it. Lights flickered and died across cities worldwide. Cars stopped working. Phones went silent. Anything electronic failed in waves as the ship passed overhead. Military jets scrambled to intercept it but lost power as they approached. They dropped from the sky like stones. On Navy ships, sailors watched helplessly as their weapons systems shut down. "It's emitting some kind of energy field," a technician explained to Admiral Clark. "Nothing electronic works within 3 miles of it." "What about our nuclear options?" Clark asked. "The launch systems are down, sir. We're blind and defenseless." In the underground base, backup generators kept the lights on. Dr. Scott worked with Sam to understand his dreams. "Tell me exactly what you saw," she said. Sam closed his eyes. "A battle. Stars exploding. Ships like the one above us. Fighting against darkness. Not ships, exactly. More like holes in space. And I knew, somehow I knew, we were losing." "We?" Maya asked. "Humans," Sam said. "It was us in those ships, fighting something that wanted to destroy everything." Maya showed Sam new images from space telescopes. The ship was enormous, with smooth metal that looked like liquid in the sunlight. Strange blue lights pulsed along its sides. "It's damaged," Sam said without thinking. Pierce leaned forward. "How do you know?" "The lights should be steady. Pulsing means it's trying to repair itself." Sam blinked, surprised by his own words. "I don't know how I know that." Maya's computer suddenly beeped. "We're getting a signal from the ship." Static filled the speakers, then changed to sounds like metal grinding on metal. Most people covered their ears, but Sam leaned closer. "You understand it, don't you?" Maya washed his face. "Not words exactly, but feelings. It's searching for something." The blood moon grew darker overhead. People around the world huddled in homes lit by candles. They looked up at the red moon and the metal giant that circled Earth like a patient hunter. In small towns, strange things began to happen. Ancient cave paintings glowed with blue light. Stone circles that stood for thousands of years hummed with energy. People reported dreams of stars and battles. Inside the base, Sam's nose began to bleed. Images flooded his mind. Faster, clearer. He saw a room inside the ship, a chair designed for human bodies, controls that responded to thought. "It's not alien," he whispered. "It's ours. We built it." "That's impossible," Pierce said. "We don't have that technology." "Not now," Sam agreed. "But we did once, a long time ago." Maya placed an ancient stone tablet on the table. It came from Egypt, dug up just days ago, when the ground above it started glowing. "This was found near the pyramids," she said. "The hieroglyphs mention sky warriors who fought devourers of light using chariots of the gods." Sam touched the tablet. The symbols rearranged themselves in his mind, forming words he somehow understood. "Guardian will awaken when the hunters return," he read aloud. "The blood moon signals they're coming." The ground shook. On screens around the room, they watched as the ship changed course, heading directly for their location. "It found what it was looking for," Sam said quietly. "It found me." The ship stopped directly above the base. Everyone held their breath. The ground trembled like something heavy had landed nearby. "We should evacuate," Pierce said. "No," Sam replied, his voice strangely calm. "It won't hurt us. It's here to protect us." Maya studied the readings on her tablet. "The energy field has changed. Our electronics are working again." Pierce's radio crackled. "Sir, something's happening on the surface." They hurried upstairs and outside. The night air felt electric. The blood moon cast everything in red light. In a clear area near the base, a perfect circle of grass turned blue, then disappeared. A hole opened in the ground, revealing metal stairs that spiraled down into darkness. "It's an entrance," Sam said. "It's been here all along." "Under a military base?" Pierce asked. Maya nodded. Ancient sites often have strategic value. Many bases and churches were built on older sacred places. Sam walked toward the opening. Pierce grabbed his arm. "We should send in drones first," Pierce said. "There's no time," Sam replied. "I need to know what's down there." Maya stepped forward. "I'm coming too." Pierce sighed and drew his gun. "Fine, but I lead." The stairs took them deep underground. The walls were smooth metal that glowed faintly. After 5 minutes of walking, they entered a large round room. Dust covered everything, but the design was clearly advanced. Control panels with no buttons, screens with no visible power source. "This can't be ancient," Pierce whispered. "This looks more advanced than anything we have now." Maya ran her hands over strange symbols carved into the walls. These match both the ship and Sam's drawings. In the center of the room stood a raised platform with a single chair. It looked made for a human body. "I need to sit there," Sam said. "That's a bad idea," Pierce warned. But Sam was already moving. As he approached the chair, the floor began to hum. Dust fell away as hidden systems came to life. Blue light spread through lines in the floor. Sam sat down. The chair molded itself to his body. A metal band emerged and wrapped around his head. Pierce raised his gun. "Get away from him." Maya stopped him. "Wait. Look." The walls became transparent, showing images from around the world. More chambers like this one, opening in remote locations. Other people being drawn to them, just like Sam. Sam's eyes opened wide. "I can see them all. 12 chambers, 12 people, all connected to Guardian." "The ship?" Maya asked. "Yes. It's called Guardian. It was built to protect Earth." "From what?" Pierce demanded. Before Sam could answer, new images appeared on the walls. Space, dark and empty. Then something moving. Not ships, but holes in reality. Darkness that consumed light. Hundreds of them, moving toward Earth. "The Void Harbingers," Sam whispered. "They're coming back." Maya pulled out the tablet with the ancient writings. The texts mentioned them. Devourers of worlds who came during the blood moon. Sam's voice changed, becoming deeper. "Last time they came, we fought them across the stars. Humanity had an empire that spanned galaxies. We were the defenders, the warriors. But the harbingers were too many. We lost most of what we had built." "That's impossible," Pierce said. "Humans have only been in space for less than a century." "Your history is incomplete," Sam replied, his eyes glowing slightly blue. "The survivors returned to Earth and hid their technology. They knew the harbingers would come again during the next cycle. The blood moon marks their return." On the walls, images showed ancient civilizations. Pyramids in Egypt, temples in South America, stone circles in Europe, all built above chambers like this one. The stories were passed down, Maya realized. Every culture has myths about sky warriors and cosmic battles. "And star hunters who return with the blood moon," Sam added. An alarm sounded. On the screens, they saw new objects entering the solar system. dark shapes that seemed to swallow the stars behind them. "The first scouts have arrived," Sam said. "Guardian is awakening to fight, but it's damaged. It needs all 12 chambers to reach full power." Pierce's radio came to life. Admiral Clark's voice broke through. "Pierce, what's happening down there?" "NASA just detected multiple objects approaching Earth at impossible speed." "Sir," Pierce replied, looking at Sam, "I think we're about to go to war with something that's been hunting us for thousands of years." The world's leaders gathered in emergency meetings as the news spread about the approaching objects. Military forces went on high alert. People looked to the sky with fear. Sam remained connected to the chair, his mind linked with Guardian. Through him, the ancient AI spoke to Maya and Pierce. "The Harbingers consume all life to fuel their existence," Sam explained, his voice mixed with something older. "They have destroyed thousands of worlds. Earth was nearly one of them." "How do we fight them?" Pierce asked. "All 12 chambers must activate. Each contains a key part of Guardian systems." Maya studied the map showing the other chambers. "They're spread across the world. China, Russia, Brazil, Egypt. How do we reach them all in time?" The ground shook as Guardian moved overhead. Pierce's radio buzzed with panicked reports. "The ship is changing position." On the walls, they saw Guardian extending parts of itself. Like a flower opening, a beam of blue light shot from it toward the blood moon, then split into 11 smaller beams that struck different points around Earth. "Guardian is calling the chosen ones," Sam said. "Like me, they carry the genetic markers of the original crew." Maya watched the screens as people around the world reacted to the signal. Most heard nothing, but some, a teacher in Japan, a farmer in Brazil, a doctor in Egypt, stopped what they were doing and looked up with recognition. "Why didn't it just wake them all at once?" Pierce asked. "Guardian was damaged in the last battle," Sam replied. "It had to conserve power, waiting for the right moment." In Washington, Admiral Clark argued with the president and other officials. "We can't just wait while these things approach Earth," a general said. "We need to launch everything we have." "Our weapons wouldn't even reach them," Clark replied. "And based on what Pierce reported, these harbingers might not even be solid matter." The president looked tired. "You're suggesting we trust this Guardian? A ship we didn't even know existed until 2 days ago." "I'm suggesting we listen to the people who seem to be connected to it," Clark said, including Sam Wells. Around the world, the other chosen ones found their chambers. One by one, they connected to their chairs. With each connection, Guardian grew stronger. Sam could feel the power building. 6 connected, he reported. 7, 8. The first Harbinger scout reached Mars. From Earth, it looked like a dark spot that erased the red planet from view. When it passed, Mars looked dimmer, its color faded. "It's feeding," Sam explained, "taking energy from the planet itself." "How long until they reach Earth?" Pierce asked. "The main fleet, 3 days. The scouts, 12 hours. Maya received messages from other scientists. We're getting reports of people disappearing from coastal cities. Hundreds of them, just gone. The scouts are already testing our defenses," Sam said, "harvesting samples." In the underground chamber, lights flickered as energy surged through the ancient systems. Sam groaned in pain. "What's happening to him?" Pierce asked. "His mind is expanding to handle more information." Guardian's voice came directly through the room's speakers now. The human brain was not designed to process this much data at once. Maya touched Sam's arm. "You need to disconnect." "I can't," Sam said through gritted teeth. "Not until all 12 are connected." On the screens, they watched as the remaining chosen ones reached their chambers. 10 connected. 11. But the 12th chamber, located in northern Russia, showed only soldiers surrounding the entrance, preventing anyone from entering. "They think it's a weapon," Pierce realized. "They're trying to secure it for themselves." "Without all 12 connections, Guardian cannot reach full power," Sam said. We need the weapons systems online before the scouts arrive. Maya turned to Pierce. We need to contact that last person. Convince the Russians to let them in. How? Pierce asked. It's not like we can just call them. Sam's eyes suddenly opened wide. The network is still active. What network? Maya asked. The one that spans the planet. The one our ancestors built. Sam looked at them. Every standing stone. Every ancient monument aligned with the stars. They're all transmitters, waiting to be activated. Guardian's voice filled the room. I can reactivate the network with current power levels. It will allow all chosen ones to communicate. Do it, Sam said. The blood moon pulsed with red light. Around the world, ancient sites began to glow blue. Stonehenge, the pyramids, Easter Island statues, and hundreds of lesser-known monuments. A web of blue energy connected them all, creating a network that had been silent for thousands of years. Sam closed his eyes. I can reach her now. The 12th chosen one. Her name is Natalia. In northern Russia, Natalia Petrova stood at the edge of a military blockade. Soldiers pointed guns at the glowing blue circle on the ground. She had been trying to get past them for hours, drawn by a voice in her head. Now, with the ancient network active, the voice became clear. Natalia. Sam's thoughts reached her. My name is Sam Wells. I'm like you, connected to Guardian. I can hear you, she fought back, but they won't let me reach the chamber. Around the world, the other 10 chosen ones joined their mental conversation, their thoughts translated through Guardian systems. We need all 12 connected, said Hiroshi from Japan. The scouts are approaching fast, added Luz from Brazil. Natalia looked at the Russian commander. I need to show you something, she said to him, to save us all. Back in the American chamber, Sam gasped as pain shot through his head. His brain is overheating, Guardian warned. Human minds were not designed to channel this much information. Maya pressed a cold cloth to Sam's forehead. We need to disconnect him. Not yet, Sam whispered. I need to show them. Through the ancient network, Sam sent images to Natalia, images she could project into the air before the Russian soldiers. They showed the harbingers approaching Earth. They showed what happened to planets that fell to these creatures. They showed humanity's last stand thousands of years ago. The Russian commander stared in shock at the display. He spoke rapidly into his radio. After a tense minute, he nodded to Natalia. Go, he said, quickly. As Natalia entered the chamber and connected to her chair, a surge of power flowed through the entire network. Guardian systems fully activated. Above Earth, the massive ship transformed. Weapons systems coming online, engines glowing brighter. All 12 connected, Guardian announced. Combat systems at 80% capacity. On screens around the world, people watched in awe as the enormous ship moved into defensive position above Earth. Military commanders received translated messages explaining Guardian's purpose. The people need to be moved inland, Sam told Admiral Clark through the network. The harbingers will strike coastal cities first. How do we fight them? Clark asked. You can't, Sam replied. But Guardian can. It was built to hunt them. The first harbinger scout appeared in Earth's atmosphere, a dark spot that seemed to absorb light. It moved toward the Atlantic Ocean, a shadow that left darkness in its wake. Guardian fired. A beam of bright blue energy cut through the sky, striking the harbinger. The dark spot writhed, then scattered into smaller pieces that faded away. People cheered, but Sam felt Guardian's concern. That was one scout. Guardian's voice echoed in the chambers. The main fleet is much larger. In his chamber, Sam studied the tactical displays Guardian showed him. The scout had been testing Earth's defenses. The main fleet would be more careful now. We need to take the fight to them, Sam said. Away from Earth. Guardian cannot leave orbit without completing repairs, the AI responded. We need the original crew to truly operate at full capacity. Maya, watching Sam's face, saw his expression change. "You know where the crew is, don't you?" she asked. Sam nodded slowly. "They're here. They've always been here." "I don't understand," Pierce said. "The original crew never left," Sam explained. "They passed their knowledge down through their genes. Through us, the 12 chosen ones." Guardian's voice filled the chamber. "Correct. You carry not just the genetic markers, but the stored memories of your ancestors. With the proper stimulus, those memories can be accessed." "You mean we can remember how to fly this thing?" Sam asked. "Yes," Guardian replied. "But the process is dangerous. The human mind can break under the strain of thousands of years of memories." Outside, the blood moon glowed brighter as more scouts entered the atmosphere. Time was running out. "Do it," Sam said. "Activate the memories." Guardian's systems hummed. In each chamber around the world, the 12 chosen ones arched in their chairs as ancient knowledge flooded their minds. Memories not their own, of space battles, of advanced technology, of a time when humans ruled the stars. Sam screamed as his mind expanded beyond human limits. Then his eyes opened, glowing blue with power. "I remember," he said in a voice that carried the weight of ages. "I remember everything." With the ancient memories unlocked, Sam's entire view of reality changed. He saw Guardian not as a ship but as a weapon, built by humans at the height of their power. He remembered stars that no longer existed and battles fought before Earth's recorded history began. "We need to board Guardian," Sam said, his voice now carrying both his own personality and echoes of his ancestor. "The chambers are just control points. The true battle must be fought from the bridge." Pierce shook his head. "Board an alien, ancient, spaceship." "How?" "Guardian will send transport pods," Sam replied. "All 12 of us must go." Maya looked nervous. "What about us?" "The non-chosen ones." Sam smiled, his eyes still glowing faintly blue. "Guardian was built by humans, for humans. You can come too." Around the world, small pieces of Guardian broke away and descended to each chamber location. They looked like teardrops made of liquid metal. As they landed, doors appeared in their sides. Pierce stared at the pod outside their chamber. "You expect us to get in that?" "Yes," Sam said simply, walking toward it. "Unless you want to stay and face the Harbingers alone." Inside the transport pod, Maya and Pierce watched in amazement as Sam touched controls that appeared in the air before him. The pod rose smoothly, flying through the atmosphere toward Guardian. "The others are on their way too," Sam said. "All 12 chosen ones and their companions." "What happens when we reach Guardian?" Maya asked. "We wake it fully," Sam replied. "Right now, it's operating on automatic systems. With us aboard, it becomes something more." The pod docked with Guardian's massive hull. Doors opened, revealing corridors of smooth metal that seemed to flow like water. Sam led them deeper into the ship, moving with the confidence of someone returning home after a long absence. They reached a vast room with 12 stations arranged in a circle. Above them, a holographic display showed Earth and the approaching Harbinger fleet. The other transport pods were arriving, bringing the remaining chosen ones. Hiroshi from Japan, a physics teacher who now carried the memories of Guardian's weapons officer. Luz from Brazil, once a farmer, now remembering his past as Guardian's shield operator. All 12, each with a specific role, each with ancient knowledge flooding back. "What are we?" Natalia asked as she took her station. "Are we still human?" "More human than you know," Guardian's voice replied. "You're remembering what humanity once was before the fall. Before we lost the stars." Sam took the central chair, the captain's position. The holographic display expanded, showing the full extent of the approaching threat. The main Harbinger fleet was massive, with hundreds of the dark entities moving as one force. "We can't stop them all," Hiroshi said, checking the weapons systems, even at full power. "We don't need to stop them all," Sam replied. "We just need to hold them off long enough." "Enough for what?" Pierce asked. Sam looked at him, ancient wisdom in his eyes. To wake the others. What others? Maya asked. Before Sam could answer, Guardian shook violently. On the display, they saw several Harbinger scouts attacking in formation, striking Guardian's shields. Shields at 60%, Luz reported. They're stronger than before. They've adapted to our weapons, Hiroshi added. Standard attacks won't work twice. Sam closed his eyes, connecting fully with Guardian systems. Through the ship's sensors, he could feel the Harbingers, their hunger, their ancient hatred for humanity. They fear us, he realized aloud. They always have. Us? Pierce looked confused. Humans? Why would they fear us? Because of what we were, Sam replied, and what we might become again. He opened his eyes and touched the controls. Guardian's engines came to life, pushing the massive ship away from Earth orbit. What are you doing? Maya asked. Where are we going? To higher ground, Sam said. To where the other Guardians sleep. On the display, a new image appeared, the far side of the moon. Scanner data revealed what looked like massive hangar doors built into the lunar surface. More ships, Sam explained. A whole fleet, hidden where the Harbingers couldn't find them, waiting for us to wake them. As Guardian accelerated toward the moon, the blood-red glow seemed to follow them, illuminating their path forward. How do we wake them? Natalia asked. Sam's hands moved over the controls, initiating a sequence that hadn't been used for millennia. With a key, he said, a key made of light and blood and memory. Guardian fired a beam of pure blue energy at the lunar surface, striking the ancient doors. And with a call to hunt, Sam finished, his voice carrying the weight of 1,000 generations of star warriors, to hunt under the blood moon. The beam struck the lunar surface, sending shock waves across the dusty ground. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the surface began to crack, revealing massive doors that had been hidden for thousands of years. It's working, Sam whispered. The doors slowly opened. Inside, row after row of ships waited in darkness, smaller than Guardian but still enormous, each one a weapon designed to hunt Harbingers. 57 ships, Natalia reported, reading Guardian scans, all in working condition. But who will fly them? Maya asked. There are only 12 of us. Sam smiled. They don't need pilots. Not like Guardian does. Guardian sent out another pulse, this one spreading across the lunar base. One by one, the ships began to glow with blue light. Engines fired up. Weapons systems came online. Hunter-class vessels, Sam explained, built to follow Guardian into battle. They're linked to our minds now, through the network. On Earth, military leaders watched in amazement as the fleet of ancient warships rose from the lunar surface. News spread quickly. People came out of their homes, looking up at the sky where bright blue lights moved into formation around the blood moon. The Harbinger main fleet is changing course, Hiroshi reported. They've detected the awakening. They're moving faster now. Good, Sam said. Let them come to us, away from Earth. Guardian accelerated, leading the newly awakened fleet to meet the enemy. Sam looked at the tactical display, memories of ancient battles guiding his strategy. Hiroshi, prepare the light cannons. Luz, focus shields forward. Natalia, coordinate the hunter vessels to form a spread pattern. Everyone worked with newfound skill, guided by memories thousands of years old. Pierce and Maya watched in amazement as the chosen ones operated technology far beyond current human understanding. I never imagined, Pierce began, that humans were capable of this. Maya finished for him. Maybe that's the point. We forgot what we could do. The first wave of Harbingers appeared, dark spots against the stars, moving with unnatural speed. The hunter ships spread out, forming a net around Guardian. Fire, Sam ordered. The battle began. Beams of blue energy cut through space, striking the darkness. The Harbingers responded with attacks of their own, tendrils of shadow that seemed to eat the light itself. Several hunter ships took direct hits, their shields failing. But for each ship lost, 3 harbingers were destroyed. The ancient weapons, designed specifically to fight these creatures, proved effective. Guardian shook as a particularly large harbinger struck its shields. Shields at 30%. Lewis called out, "We can't take many more hits like that." Sam closed his eyes, connecting deeper with Guardian systems. He found a weapon protocol that had been locked away, something so powerful it had been used only once before. "Everyone, channel your energy to the main system," Sam instructed the other chosen ones. "I need everything we've got." The 12 linked their minds together through Guardian. The ship began to glow brighter, energy building in its core. "What are you doing?" Pierce asked, concern in his voice. "Something our ancestors did to win the last war," Sam replied, strain showing on his face. "Making the sun." Guardian's front section opened, revealing a chamber that glowed like a star. Energy from all 12 chosen ones flowed into it, creating a miniature sun. "Fire," Sam commanded. The artificial sun launched forward, growing as it moved. When it reached the heart of the Harbinger fleet, it exploded in silent fury. The light was blinding, even through Guardian's filtered view screens. When it faded, most of the Harbinger fleet was gone. The few survivors retreated, fleeing back into deep space. Inside Guardian, several of the chosen ones collapsed from the strain. Sam remained in his chair, barely conscious but smiling. "We did it," he whispered. "We remembered who we were." Days later, Guardian and the surviving hunter ships returned to Earth orbit. The chosen ones had recovered, though their minds were forever changed by the memories they now carried. World leaders gathered to meet with them, to understand what this meant for humanity's future. "The Harbingers will return one day," Sam explained to the assembled leaders. "They always do. But now we remember how to fight them." "What happens now?" the American president asked. "We rebuild," Sam replied. "Not just weapons, but knowledge. Everything our ancestors knew about the stars, about travel between worlds, about who we really are." Maya stood beside Sam, holding ancient data crystals recovered from Guardian's archives. "We have a lot to relearn," she said, "and a lot to remember." That night, Sam stood on a hillside with Maya and Pierce, looking up at Guardian and the hunter ships in orbit, visible as bright blue stars against the night sky. The blood moon had faded back to its normal silver color. "Do you think they'll come back in our lifetime?" Pierce asked. "I don't know," Sam replied, "but we'll be ready when they do." "What did Guardian mean when it said the Harbingers fear us?" Maya asked. Sam smiled, the ancient memories clear in his mind. "Because of all the species they've encountered across the universe, only humans ever hunted them back." Above them, Guardian glowed blue against the night, a watchful protector and a reminder of humanity's forgotten legacy among the stars.